Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button so we can build this community, share our information about the crypto industry and the new financial industry coming our way. We've got some great stuff for you today. Charles Hoskinson talking about his continued relationship with XRP and Ripple, and $100,000 Bitcoin. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to happen before Thanksgiving by the looks of it. Let's take a look at pricing and then dive into some news. And there's a lot of news to share. A lot of euphoria, in the crypto industry that we're going to share. Things are looking bright as we head into this Gary Gensler resignation and Trump team handling crypto and the new financial system. Bitcoin sitting at 97,889. This is incredible. The bull run is here, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about an all-time high of 98,366.54. And we are not far off from that. We are just steps away from $100,000 on Bitcoin. And when that happens, you can almost guarantee retail is going to start to come in and just, again, it's just going to take off. Ethereum sitting at 3,343, up 8.62% in the last 24 hours. Solana up 10.44% in the last 24 hours, sitting at 257.80, and XRP up 2.82%, sitting at $1.12. Everything, all the big boys are moving up in the last 24 hours. Let's take a dive into some news, and let's start with Mr. John Deaton. He said suddenly, and he has a retweet here from Simon Dixon. Simon says, as predicted, the final China flip-flop is here. This time, it's pro-Bitcoin, and there's no turning back. Congratulations to my Chinese brothers and sisters, Simon says. A Shanghai court officially ruled Bitcoin and crypto ownership legal under Chinese law, as reported by the South China Morning Post. So great to see China here flip-flopping back to the right side of things. They're not going to be left behind. The United States talking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve. States talking about having strategic Bitcoin reserves. Companies like Microsoft, Michael Saylor is going to be presenting to the Microsoft board about having Bitcoin on their balance sheet. China, you knew, was gonna make this decision. Moving on to digital asset investor, DAI as he's known, he says, release the OIG report on Hinman. Stuart Alderati, he retweeted, says a lot of unsolicited advice on here about who should or who shouldn't be the next chair. I trust the transition team to make the right call with these table stakes for crypto in mind. And he gives a list of things here that they should be thinking about. 1. End all non-fraud crypto litigation on day 1. 2. Get commitments from commissioners, Udea and Pierce to stay on and work collaboratively with the new chair. Collaborate with all financial regulators and Congress on clear and simple rules for crypto, but without presuming that those rules give the SEC primary jurisdiction over anything. 4. Renounce the 2018 Hinman speech and the 2019 Framework for Investment Contract Analysis of Digital Assets. 5. Create transparency around the FOIA process. That's the Freedom of Information Act process. Ensure that it becomes a real credible mechanism for public access to information, not an opaque system. Guarantee accountability and restore public trust by addressing past issues with the SEC by emboldening the Office of Inspector General. So there you have it from Stuart Alderati on what next steps should be for the SEC and the new chair. Great stuff from him. Coming in from Mr. Man, he says, I can feel it. I feel the wave of euphoria about to hit us. Crypto adoption is coming on a scale like we've never witnessed before. Tokenization of real-world assets will drive the markets with stablecoins, fueling the growth of digital commerce. Get ready. And here from the Economic Forum is a video that he retweeted from High Vibe. It says, tokenization of real-world assets is the ultimate goal and creation of crypto. Let's take a listen to this gentleman at the Economic Forum.
Yeah, I do think it's significant in many ways. I think, what you actually have here is you have a market structure, a regulated market structure that is wrapped literally around cryptographic tokens, in this case, Bitcoin tokens, and the safekeeping of those, the record keeping of those, and the actual, kind of underlying transfer and liquidity. And so that is a market structure that is now being interacted with by the very largest financial institutions in the world, and they're coming together and working with great firms like Coinbase and others who are providing the actual critical crypto infrastructure around some of this. So I think it's a very significant moment because it's demonstrating that you can have a security or a digital token and you can have those work together. But I think the broader piece here is it underscores that, at least in the case of the SEC, and you could read Gensler's comments, and I think he's being pretty transparent about how he thinks about this, which is he lost a court case and he's just doesn't want to get sued again. It's kind of what he said, but I think there is more, because I think that the SEC has a much deeper understanding of this whole field and of the technology and of the operators and the risks and what kind of disclosures you might need. I think there's just a far greater understanding than 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It just continues. And so, when Larry Fink gets on television the next day and says, this is just the tipping point. This is the tipping point towards tokenization. The tokenization of financial assets broadly and of other types of property is going to change the way the financial industry works. It's going to, change access to finance and financial products and other things, which I deeply believe. I think that's an indicator that, I think BlackRock is perhaps one of the largest securities issuers in the world. And I think it suggests confidence that, tokenization is going to be coming on in a significant way, and that we're going to see some of the very, very biggest asset issuers in the world issuing tokenized versions of those assets this year. And so that's significant. And so I do think it is not just about, is this validation for Bitcoin? I think it's about the whole technology architecture, what it represents. And I think, we're all sitting here because people are interested, right? And that this is here and it's not going away. And so I think it's a significant shift for all those reasons.
Tamer goes on to say, watch our CEO and founder, Perry Ann, on Fox Business, Making Money with C. Payne, discussing how crypto went from a pipe dream to a congressional majority in D.C. Let's give you at least some of this interview, if not all. Take a listen.
The notion of crypto was a pipe dream. We got the Trump team now mulling the creation of a new post that would be dedicated to crypto. We're going to get more on that. Of course, think about this a long time ago, where this country was, particularly in D.C., how hostile it was to crypto. And now this election, we've had several pro-crypto candidates that won. Not only did they win, but in the process, many of them pushed out anti-crypto lawmakers that stood in the way of favorable legislation. I suspect the rapid development, pretty shocking, even for my next guest, even though she is the founder of the Digital Chamber. Their mission, of course, is to promote the acceptance and use of digital assets, blockchain-based technologies through education advocacy, and working closely with policymakers, regulatory agencies, and industry. And this is what you've been trying to do. Let's now bring in our guest, Digital Chamber founder and CEO, Perianne Boring. Perianne, first of all, it's moving so fast. I mean, really, it's like almost every day, and you must be happy almost every day it's something that seems pro-crypto.
Well, you're saying it's moving fast, but it took us 10 years to get here.
That's success, right? Isn't that the success is like, no one sees all the hard work that you put behind the scenes, but all of a sudden it is coming quickly.
Yeah, so I was the first person in the country to be an advocate for Bitcoin and blockchain technology in our nation's capital.
Why were you that? What made you do that?
My conviction was really around the promise of Bitcoin to address some of our most pressing issues facing our country. I went to D.C. right after the financial crisis of 2008. I wanted to fight for something better. When I learned about Bitcoin and how this could be a technology to create financial opportunity and an equitable financial system for all people, that was something I was willing to fight for. And now this has really emerged as a tool to address our debt issue, can strengthen national security goals, can strengthen economic security goals. It's so much more than just people making money after crypto. That's not what it's about. It's about securing our financial prosperity.
You're looking at it almost from a humanitarian point of view.
We absolutely do believe that cryptocurrencies, they're open source software, which is protected by free speech. The free speech conversations have been front and center over the past several years, mostly with social media platforms. But we are a branch of that same tree. We believe it is a human right to have an access to cryptocurrencies. This is our freedom to transact. It's our property rights, and it's our freedom to assemble digitally with anyone in the world.
So there's a lot of pushback always out of D.C. Elizabeth Warren probably at the top of the list there, but a couple of folks who just lost their seats. I was reading your note. Is it 250 now pro-crypto members of Congress?
Well, as of today, it's as many as 290. Our team is still going through all of those 535 members and analyzing who we consider to be pro-crypto. But it's as many as 290, and there's 535 members of Congress, which means about 55% of members of Congress that will be sworn in January are pro-crypto. And that means crypto is the majority party.
What do you want to see from them?
Well, our industry has faced significant pushback from Washington, D.C. The biggest issues facing the cryptocurrency industry is a lack of regulatory clarity, coupled with very aggressive regulation by enforcement from the regulators, primarily the SEC, but to some extent the CFTC as well. We need clarity on whose jurisdiction begins and where, and we need registration frameworks so companies can bring the most innovative financial products to market, registered, regulated, without the fear of
enforcement. So I've got 30 seconds, though. The main pushback has been that it's used so much in crime. So
that the blockchain can, everybody can see it. It's all on the blockchain, and you can catch who's trying to do illegal things. Anyway, great interview from Perianne. Give her a follow on X. She does great work. Pickle comes in here and says, most people still have no idea what we know. XRP dominates Coinbase trading volume recently, capturing 18.01% of total volume. Terrific to see the popularity of XRP increasing. We have lots of news, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a favor, drop in the comments what you want to hear about. A lot of the news, of course, is on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, so a lot of the big boys. And I try to cover, some news around the SEC as well. If there's something particular you want to hear about, drop it in the comments. I will certainly do my best to cover it. Let's build this community. Let's make more people aware of what's happening in crypto and the new financial system and how this can help all of our lives. That's the reason I'm doing this channel. Certainly for myself and my family, and I want to do this to help everybody else as well.
Give me a like and subscribe.